When you are the quarterback of a team, or when you're the player, when you are a leader of a team, when do you think it's most important to show leadership? It's pretty easy. And the expression is that anyone can steer a ship through calm waters. We don't evaluate players on the field in spring training or in April or September because there's so many other factors going on. You use it as one of the arrows in your quiver, but you don't do a full evaluation. You can do it on the margins, like for a 25th or 26th man. If they have a good spring training, you let him make the opening day roster, and then you option him out 2 weeks later or whatever you do. Someone's injured. But the way you really look at leadership and test leadership and understand leadership is in stormy seas. In sports, the equivalent of that is when a team is losing or when a team is dealing with off-the-field issues or distractions. You are looking for someone on your team to have an approach, to have a public approach, and to have, as importantly, a private approach. The private approach is what goes on inside the locker room or clubhouse. The public approach is what that player is saying so that fans understand what's going on inside the clubhouse. Now, the two do not match all the time. There are many times that we've got something going on inside a clubhouse, but we want a different message out in public, so we'll have either a player or a staff member make sure what we're going to say publicly, and it's going to be totally different than what we're saying privately. Because of competitive issues, we don't want another team to know something going on, or it's just a bad look. If you lost 3 hours of your life yesterday watching the Jets and the Patriots play, the outcome is not relevant. The final score was 10-3. In a real barn burner of a game. It was 3-3 until the last minute. And the Patriots scored on an 84-yard punt return for a touchdown, no less, and won the game 10-3. And the Jets were going for over the Patriots. They hadn't beaten the Patriots like in 14 straight times. And this year, the Jets are taking receipts, as Saleh, their coach, said in his second year, trying to make this team relevant and good. Their quarterback is a guy named Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is a second-year player who had a historically bad game. And that's not that much hyperbole. It's slight, but not huge. I believe he threw for under 80 yards, which in today's NBA is the equivalent of a team scoring in the 70s. Now, in my time of my love of the Knicks in the 80s and 90s, mostly the 90s, you score 70 points. That's a Tuesday. Final score 78-72. Hell yeah, that's good defense. Not now. Now the NBA likes games in the 130s and 140s. The NFL changed all sorts of rules in order to add offense. Used to be you run first down, try to run second down, pass third down. Now, some teams would pass on first down. You say, wow, that's the West Coast offense. Look, the quarterback's in the shotgun and he's not doing a handoff. He's going to throw him first down. That used to be strange. Not anymore. If you don't have a passing game in the NFL, you have no chance, period. It's hard enough when you have a great quarterback and no receivers like in Baltimore, but in theory, teams are now being put together from the outside in, where it used to be they're put together from the inside out, meaning wide receivers back in through the center versus center out through the wide receivers. But the key to every football team is their quarterback. So Zach Wilson is the guy, second year. Hard to be a leader when you're young, but not impossible if you're good, but you have to be good, like Magic Johnson type good to be a young rookie leader, or some sort of amazing pedigree coming into your team, onto your team. So when you are asked about a game after a game, you know that we have that blanket, that period of time post-game before the media comes where the players are supposed to get out their emotions, they're supposed to flatline, then go meet the media, and you don't do it with emotion. And the reason you don't is then you say something that you're going to regret. Zach Wilson was asked after the game, hey, just curious, anything you want to say to your defense? Do you feel like you let your defense down because their defense only gave up 3 points? 7 points was given up by special teams, but their defense only gave up 3 points, and their offense could only score 3 points. And Zach Wilson looked at the camera and said, no, And it turns out his Jets teammates didn't like that very much. Zach Wilson was in the locker room after the game, acting very much like he did when he was front-facing the media, walking around like, hey, we're good here because I'm good here. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the offense. I don't know whether my line stinks. I don't know why he didn't get a pick 6 on defense. That special teams coach should be fired, but I'm good. Teammates don't like that. That creates tremendous division. And football is a sport where there's opportunity for there to be division way more than other sports. Think about it. You have an offense and a defense. In basketball, the same players play both. In baseball, the same players play both. In football, there's no Shohei Ohtanis. You've got people who play defense and people who play offense. To be a leader, it used to be, Coca, when they do the coin flips now, is it multiple people who go out? It used to be in the NFL that you'd have a defensive captain, an offensive captain, a special teams captain, and they would all go to midfield for the coin toss. And the reason you have multiple captains is that there are different cliques on the team. Now, in baseball, there's cliques also, but those are based on demographics mostly, not positions. It's not like all the infielders hang out and go out after games. It's much more based on where you're from and what language you speak. But in football, it's a bigger locker room, and there's a chance for greater divisiveness. And if you have a team where both sides are not together and not pulling for each other, you can feel that. And that's an issue that happens in sports, and it shouldn't happen, right? Talent should win the day. If you're good enough, you're going to win. You don't have to like each other. I've had athletes tell me that liking their teammates matters not. I've had athletes tell me that chemistry matters, but chemistry comes from winning. But what I've noticed with having won and lost, while chemistry is helped by winning, you don't need players to do anything other than their jobs on the field. All of the talk about the clubhouse divisiveness, the defense being unhappy with what Zach Wilson said, I find it to be very overblown. If the Jets hadn't given up that punt return for a touchdown, which was just one of those crazy things, and they won the game 6-3 in overtime, and there was another Jets game that was 6-3 in my lifetime, I can't remember when, the comments would have been way different after the game. Hey, we gutted through this. We're there to pick up our offense, is what the defense would say. The offense would say, I'm thankful that we did just enough to win this game. Way to go, defense. That's ordinary. What you do front-facing when it's not going your way matters. The Jets have a problem. And it's not that I am interpreting what Zach Wilson said publicly and telling you that that is the problem. It's a skill problem. It's a team problem. And those don't get covered up by anything you do in the media.